there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
I don't know why, but I just felt like I was unwanted.
Learning he was adopted shattered his life.
I ran away from home.
It was like watching a traffic accident, in slow motion.
Hamish heads to Fiji to find his birth mum. But will he get more than he bargained for?
I've got something here which I'd like to show you.
Also, she searched for her birth mum in London.
I was looking at all the ladies. Does she look like me? Do you think she could be my mum? Do you think she looks like me?
But when she had no luck, she left the country.
I do feel quite sort of isolated and alone.
Now this Rangiora mum must face her past.
No, you haven't.
I'm family from the past. Who are you?
Families that are lost and found.
That's the way it is. There's nothing much you can do about it.
They're always unpredictable.
I was born in Fiji and I was raised in New Zealand. When I was 15, I found out that I was adopted. It was a huge shock to me. Since then, I have always wondered where I've come from and who my birth parents were. Can you please help me find my birth mother?
To be taken away from your homeland and raised in another culture is not always easy. Hamish Ansell is 31. He and his partner live in Auckland, where he works as a window installer. They have a 3-year-old daughter, Olivia. Hamish had a happy upbringing with his adoptive family, but he has questions about his identity.
Yeah, I wasn't really brought up too much Fijian, like I wasn't shown or taught how to speak Fijian or anything like that, so I think I'm Kiwi. Yeah, same thing.
But Hamish was born in Fiji. He was barely 2 years old when his birth mother gave him up for adoption. Soon after, his new parents moved to New Zealand, where he grew up in Auckland. Hamish only found out he was adopted when his new parents adopted another child. You didn't find out until you were 15. How did it feel?
I felt really shocked and surprised, and I just had this, I don't know why, but I just felt like I was unwanted.
Confused and upset by the discovery that his parents weren't his birth parents, Hamish took to running away from home. He would return, but struggled to find his place again in the family.
I was a teenager, so I didn't know what to feel back then.
It's now 29 years since Hamish left his birth mother and his Fijian culture behind. Now he wants to rediscover his roots, starting with finding his birth mother. He only knows her name is Viema or Emma Maramari Sala.
Like, she'd be able to tell me, like, where I come from, maybe who my dad was. I'd really like to know everything, like, be able to say to people, like, you're related to that person by blood, that's your cousin, something like that, that'd be cool. Where are they going?
Hamish's partner fully supports him in finding his birth mother.
Let's go to the horsey.
Their daughter Olivia is now close to the age Hamish was when he was adopted.
I thought, I really wanted to do it for her, so I'll be able to tell her where she comes from. The truth is there's something made up.
Hamish's parents live in Auckland. They have vivid memories of Hamish's arrival into the family. Dennis Ansell is English and his wife Mary is Fijian. Tell me about adopting Hamish.
Oh, well, I wanted to adopt a child because when I went up and I saw, oh, it's Emma's child. So, but the child does make up our mind for us. Yeah. Hamis went, and before we got to the car, he was already in the car and sat at the back seat, and that was it. Everybody just loved him. Yeah. Lovely little boy.
What do you know about his birth mother, Emma?
Well, you know, all girls in Fiji, we always get together, and that's why things were easy with her when she just, when she gave us Hamis, you know, it was easy because we were all friends.
You told him when he was about 14 that he was adopted. How did he cope?
He just sat there looking at us thinking we were gone mad.
And I didn't like watching it. It was like watching a traffic accident, you know, in slow motion.
But, you know, I didn't want anybody else to tell him about it before, before me.
I still haven't worked out the rights and wrongs of that, whether we did the right thing or not. You know, I don't know. I still don't know.
Despite the challenges he faced, Hamish is deeply grateful for his upbringing and the support that Dennis and Mary continue to give him in his quest.
I love them. They've always been there when I needed them. But I just generally thought that my parents here were my parents, because that would explain, you know, that I look half Fijian and half something else. But it's not from them, it's from somebody else, which is a big question mark.
The Auckland Public Library's Research Centre has birth, death and marriage records for Fiji. But these are historical documents. There's nothing here that tells me whether the Emma is still alive and where she is now. One way to make progress, perhaps, is to track down the women that the Emma and Mary used to associate with in Suva. I need someone on the ground in Fiji to help, and Mariah Vulu is just that person. So what I'm looking for, Mariah, is a bit of help from a good local journo like yourself to try and track down a woman who gave up her son for adoption 30 years ago. Two days later, and I have news from Mariah. It's time to take the search to the next stage. Well, we've been doing some research trying to find your mum, and I know where someone is who almost certainly knows where your mother might be.
Are you serious?
Yep. I'm going to go up there and try and find them. It's a bit of a punt, but would you like to come up to Fiji with me?
What?
There's no guarantee whatsoever that we'll find your mum, and even if we find her, she might still not want to see you. You still happy to come?
Yeah, okay.
I land in Nandi, Fiji, ahead of Hamish, and head to Suva. Hamish's two mothers, the Emma and Mary, were in touch even after Hamish and his new family left Fiji. So why did they lose contact? Mary even sent a photo of Hamish to the Emma, but she never heard if she received it. Mariah, my contact here in Suva, is a senior journalist with the Fiji Sun newspaper. I'm hoping her inquiries have resulted in good news for Hamish. Hiya, old Suva Yacht Club, eh?
Bully David.
So you think you might have found the Emma?
I think I have. I got the address from a woman named Sylvia, and she's pretty sure VM is the lady that gave up her baby. But she never gave a phone contact or anything.
You haven't gone up there at all yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
Thank you. Mariah believes the Emma's worked all her life doing domestic work. She's what they call a house girl in Fiji. An address is a good start. There may have been a stigma around adoption 29 years ago. So even if the Emma is at this address, I don't know if she'll be welcoming or defensive. And she might already know someone is looking for her. "31-year-old Hamish wants to find his birth mother, the Emma, in Fiji. I now have an address, but there's a chance the Emma might not want to be found." There could be many simple reasons why Viema isn't home, but maybe it's because she doesn't want to meet Hamish. Hamish has now arrived in Suva. Coming back to his birthplace after 30 years brings up a mixed bag of emotions.
Still can't believe that I'm here. Feels like a dream. Oh, it's so beautiful. I feel like home away from home. I feel sad. I wish I could, like, you know, talk to people, ask them questions and stuff, and Fiji him. I wish I knew more about it. You know, been disconnected for so long.
I'm back at the house where I believe Viema lives. Again, no one is home.
Excuse me, you guys, you don't know the lady who lives here at all, do you? Yeah. You don't know her? Okay, all right. Well, look, thank you anyway.
This empty house is the last link in the search for Viema. All I can do now is leave my contact phone number.
So, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that the woman who's been helping us, a reporter from the Fiji Sun, found out that this is where your mother might live. But I've been up there twice, and there's no one answering the door.
Okay.
I left a note on the door up there, and hopefully she'll ring me.
Close, but not close enough, eh?
Essentially, we just have to wait.
And waiting on the end of the tether is one of the most frustrating things. With no other leads, we have no choice. Perhaps this will be a fruitless search. But later that day, finally, a call.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello, is that Viema?
Yeah, that's Emma.
Oh, Viema, thank you for ringing back. I'm David Lomas. I'm the man who left the message on your door the other day.
Yeah.
Did you by chance have a boy about 30 years ago who you gave up for adoption?
Yeah, that's my son.
Well, your boy Hamish is looking for you. He's 31 now, and he would like to meet you.
Yeah. I pray every night, every day, every night for my Hamish.
You've prayed and prayed for this?
Yeah, I just pray every night and every day.
That's good, Viema. Now, I was wondering, I have a video message which Hamish would like me to show to you. Could I meet you and show that to you?
Yes. I like to see my Hamish.
I look forward to meeting you, Viema.
Thank you, David.
All right. Morve.
Morve.
Finally, a breakthrough. Surely Viema would have formed a bond with Hamish by the time he was 2 years old. So why did she choose to give him away?
Are you Emma?
Yes.
Hello, I'm David.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming down. Very nice to meet you. Have a seat there. I'm sorry to have been all mysterious, but you had a little boy here in Fiji 30 years ago?
Yes.
And what happened?
At that time, David, I was working. Nobody was looking after my children.
And Hamish's dad, where was he?
He left me. Drink too much, come home drunk and go with anybody else.
How many children did you have when you had Hamish?
I have 4 children.
And he was the youngest?
Yeah, he was the youngest one.
With 4 children, you were struggling?
I struggled. I don't like anybody to support my children, only me, because I'm working hard and give a chance to them. And one day, those 2 couples come home, my friend, a good friend of mine,
yes,
and they want to take Hamis.
And the woman you gave Hamish to for adoption, that's the lady we call Mary in New Zealand?
Yeah, to those 2 couples.
It must have been very hard just giving up your youngest.
But I want him to give a teacher better for him, eh?
So would you like to see your boy?
Yes.
Okay, so if you were just to push that button there, that's your boy.
Hi, Emma. Hamis. I'm your son. I have no memory of you whatsoever, but I'd really like to meet you. so you'd be able to tell me who I am, where I came from. I've got a 3-year-old. We know that we're half Fijian, but we just don't know what the other half is. So I'd really like to sit down and have a chat and catch up.
I'm sorry.
Because I can't go on not knowing. For heaps of reasons.
That's your boy.
Really missed him.
You've really missed him.
He's big boy now.
Well, I gather you'd like to meet him.
Yes. Why not, David?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get him here tomorrow if you'd like to see him then.
Thank you, thank you. God bless you, David.
There's one more important question I need to ask Emma.
So, all your children the same dad?
Same father with my children.
So Hamish has full brothers and sisters?
Yes.
I don't think he knows that.
Emma asked me to visit her home later that day. There's something there for me to see.
That's my Hamis.
So this is the photo Mary sent you?
Yeah.
And this photo always stays up on your mantelpiece?
All the time.
So you've never forgotten Hamish?
I always remember him all the time.
So Hamish has 2 brothers and a sister that he doesn't know exist. I doubt that Hamish will be expecting any of this.
Well, we've had some success.
Hamish Ansell, a window installer living in Auckland, was told when he was a teenager that he was adopted. Now he's about to find out about his Fijian family.
Well, we've had some success.
Okay.
And yesterday afternoon I met your mum. I showed her the video which you did, and she cried and cried.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And she said she'd prayed and prayed that you'd find her.
Yeah.
She told me that when she gave you up, she had 4 children.
Okay, 4.
You were the youngest, the baby.
That's awesome.
I've got something here which I'd like to show you. Have a look at those. Do you know who those 2 boys are?
This one's me, I think. I don't know who the other one is.
That's your brother?
Okay. That's amazing.
As I said, your mum told us she had 4 children, and you all have the same dad.
All right.
So you're full brothers and sisters.
That's so awesome. Had no idea.
And a mum who's just going to hug you to death. So, got some time this afternoon to meet your mum?
Yeah, definitely.
You must be churning up inside.
It's crazy, it's crazy.
It's later that day, and Hamish is preparing to meet his birth mother for the first time in nearly 30 years.
It's like a whole lot of emotions just trying to come through one door, like they're all getting jammed and nothing's coming out.
Emma has arrived to meet her long-lost son.
So, can you see down there a lady in a red dress at the end there?
Yeah?
Guess who that is?
My mom?
You want to go down and see her?
Yes.
Good luck.
It was just very overwhelming. It was just a huge weight off my chest kind of thing. Like I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Hello, Sonny. Hello, my boy. Oh, my heart beating. I want to cry more. I can't. My throat just, I can't. I know. That's my boy. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me, my son. Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
All the butterflies in my stomach were just going doo, 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 doo. Like I felt so much relief, you know, like it was a very nice hug.
Lovely boy, man. This was very nice. Was my feeling. And I knew I lost my boy, now I found my boy. Big boy, handsome boy. I'm happy, I'm so happy. Oh, my boy. I love you. Forgive me, my boy.
I feel like a new person. I don't know, I feel like I've been baptized. I feel great.
That night, Hamish's sister, Shirley, arrives from Lautoka to meet Hamish and to celebrate with the extended family. Next morning, and Sister Shirley is still coming to terms with having a new brother.
My brother.
And I keep watching him, I keep looking at him. I told him, I miss you so much. I didn't believe this will happen to our family. He's very quiet, but I'm very cheeky. I'm going to teach him how to speak in Fijian, and I'm going to teach him the traditionals and cultures of the Fijians.
Hamish also has two older brothers. One's overseas with the British Army, and another's just started a new job in Nandi. Soon Hamish hopes to take his daughter Olivia to Fiji to meet the family.
I think I understand her behavior now. See where she gets it from.
So, Malay, this is your first cup?
The men, they put on a kapa ceremony. Very proper, very traditional the way they did it. They put on this logo like a hangi.
Hamis, Tuale, the logo is ready for you. You can jump in now.
My parents in New Zealand will always be my mom and dad. They're the ones that raised me, but I got like a whole lot of add-ons that I've got to get used to, you know. I'm still trying to come to terms with it because it's such a huge feeling. Just want to say thank you for welcoming me in.
And if all that isn't enough, Hamish finds out his birth father is alive and living in New Zealand. He hopes to find him too, someday.
And when we started this, you said you were a Kiwi. What do you sort of think you are now?
A Kiwi / Fijian. Yep, half and half. Straight up and down.
I'm trying to find my birth mum. When I was born in London in 1967, she called me Kim. I've always wanted to know who she was, and for the last 10 years, it has been very important to me. You're my last hope. Please, can you help me?
The hardest thing about moving to a new country is often the things you leave behind.
You've got 2 shots now, because Rosie hit the spots first.
Jo Anderson is a happily married mother who, along with husband Nigel,
looks like we've set him up, Rosie,
and their children, moved from Tilbury in England to Rangiora almost 7 years ago in search of a better life. Jo now works with teenage mums. It's a job that's reignited her desire to find her own birth mother.
So I look at them and think, well, this is how my mum was at this age with her child, and that if she'd got the help and support that the mums get where I work, my life could have been completely different.
London-born Jo was put up for adoption when she was just 6 weeks old.
I had a really good childhood, two loving, wonderful parents that, you know, I couldn't have wanted more from parents.
Jo's parents wanted a new baby after they lost their only child and found they couldn't have any more children. Jo always knew she was adopted, and though she often wondered about her birth mother, she didn't want to upset her parents by trying to find her.
My adopted dad was very protective of me, and I think if I'd have tried to find my birth mum, that he would have felt that he'd lost another child.
When both her mum and dad passed away in the 1990s, Jo finally felt she could begin searching for her birth mother.
I only know that she was 18 and she was alone in London. She'd come from Scotland, and that she just wanted a better life for me.
Jo's husband Nigel, a maintenance worker, and their 3 children, Daniel, Rosie and Craig, all support Jo in her search.
It would mean the world to her if she could find a birth mum, especially if she had brothers and sisters. She'd have a proper family again.
It's a crazy, 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 crazy mixed up world.
Jo hired private detectives in London to help find her mother, whose name is Margaret Elliott, also known as Margot. But they had no luck. So, without any blood relatives living in England, Jo was happy to move to a new life in New Zealand. But before leaving, Jo went on her own sentimental journey to the one place where she knew that she'd been in the arms of her mother. Her adoption papers showed a boarding house in Earl's Court. It's where Margot stayed before she handed Jo over for adoption. It's now a hotel, and Jo went and stayed there on her birthday.
I can remember walking in and going up the stairs and the bedroom we was in, and just sort of walking and looking out the window and thinking, wow, she could have stood here, she could have actually been in this room. And I was looking at all the ladies saying to Nigel, does she look like me? Do you think she could be my mum? Does she think she looks like me? Just because I sort of thought, well, she could come back to that same place on my birthday just to remember me.
Did your mother leave any little mementos for you when she gave you up?
Yes. In the adoption file was also 2 handwritten letters from my mum. The first one is dated the 15th of May, 68, and she's writing to the adoption agency, I would be most grateful if you would forward a photograph of Kim to me. Yours faithfully, Margot Elliott. Hey.
So it's a 19-year-old girl writing to ask for a photo of the baby she'd given away.
Yeah.
I wonder if she still has that photo. English-born Jo Anderson is looking for her birth mother, Margot Elliott.
I would be most grateful if you would forward a photograph of Kim to me. Yours faithfully, Margot Elliott.
So it's a 19-year-old girl writing to ask for a photo of the baby she'd given away.
Yeah.
I wonder if she still has that photo.
Yeah, that would be nice. Nice to think that she's kept that, and that was really nice that they gave her that photo.
The private detectives Jo hired in London made all the obvious searches. So I decided to head to England and take a different approach. Instead of searching for Margot Elliott, I concentrate my search on her parents. And when I get Margot's mother's death certificate, there's a breakthrough. The person who reported the death is her son-in-law, Donald Clark from Paisley in Scotland. Everything starts fitting together. Through the Paisley Soccer Supporters Club, I get a phone number for Donald Clark. I'm hoping he and Margot are still married.
Hello?
Hello, is Mrs. Clark there, please?
Yes, she's not here.
I'm trying to get hold of Margaret Clark, who used to be Margaret Elliott.
Who is that that's calling?
Look, it's a personal matter. It's about a family member from her past. Is there a good time I can call her?
A family from the past? Are you an agent or what?
No, I'm not an agent, no.
Well, I'm her husband. If you want me to tell me anything, you don't have any secret.
Donald puts me through the ringer. It's not my place to tell him that his wife may have had a secret baby, so I choose my words carefully.
Do you know if Mrs. Clark used to live in West Cromwell Road in Earl's Court?
Margot lived in West Cromwell Road, yes.
Yeah.
That was in 1960.
Well, it's related to a baby that the mother adopted.
Yes. Kim adopted, yes.
So did Margot have a daughter named Kim?
Yes.
I'm ringing on behalf of Jo, the baby Kim. She's trying to track down Margot. Is there a number I could give Margot a call on?
Yes.
In about half an hour?
Yeah, that's fine.
So it seems I have the correct Margot, and confirmation she gave up a baby for adoption nearly 50 years ago. While Donald was helpful on the phone, I have no idea how Margot might react.
Hello?
Hello, is Margot there, please?
Speaking?
Oh, hi, Margot. My name's David Lomas, and I'm from New Zealand. Your daughter, who you know as Kim, but is now called Jo, is looking for you.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe it.
Look, I'm in London now, and Jo has done a video message which she would like me to show to you. Can I meet you and show you that message?
Oh, God, I can't let a dream. A dream I thought would never happen. Absolutely fantastic. I would love it.
Okay. I head for Wandsworth in London's southwest. Margot and her husband Donald are meeting me in their local.
Are you Margot and Donald?
Yes.
I'm David.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, David. So, Joanne, Kim as she was then, what happened?
I went out with this chap 2 or 3 times at the most and fell pregnant. I didn't have a job and I didn't have anywhere to stay. I was staying with Donald's brother and his girlfriend at the time, and I started going out with Donald. I wasn't able to tell my mum and dad because I don't think they would have appreciated it very much. So I was pretty scared.
Margot met Donald around the time she was pregnant with Jo. For some years, they had an on-again, off-again relationship, then married in 1977. They had the first of their 2 children, 13 years after Margot had given up the baby she had named Kim.
The day you gave her up must have been hard.
I had Kim in the October, and I would dearly have loved to have kept her. Donald wanted to keep her, but we weren't living anywhere, we didn't have proper jobs. It just wasn't feasible. So, reluctantly, I gave her up for adoption in the beginning of the following year. And I've regretted it ever since. Had I known in hindsight that I was going to end up with Donald, I would never, ever have given her up, ever.
Did you ever try to find her?
At the very beginning, but the Adoption Society said to me I couldn't look for her. It was entirely up to her when she was of age. If she wanted to get in touch with me, she would look for me. That I shouldn't have been doing anything because I'd given her up, and therefore I shouldn't be going looking for her.
What do you remember of her?
She was very good. Well, for the short time I had her, she was great. She slept all night, very seldom cried. She was just beautiful. And I still think about her all the time.
Did you ever have a photo of your little girl?
I got one, and I had my suitcase stolen. And she was, I think, about 6 months, and it was in the suitcase. It was the only thing I ever had. So no, I've never got nothing.
So, would you like to see your little girl? I've just found the birth mother of Jo Anderson. Jo's an English-born mother of 3 who's now living in New Zealand. Margot Elliott gave Jo up for adoption at 6 weeks and hasn't seen her since. So, would you like to see your little girl?
Hello, Margaret. My name is Joanne Anderson, but you would have known me as Kim. I'm living in New Zealand now, and I have 3 wonderful children and a husband, and we would all really like to meet you. I'd also like you to know not to have any regrets, as I had a really wonderful childhood, 2 really loving parents. The only thing that was missing in my life was brothers and sisters, and I hope that by meeting you, I might have brothers and sisters. So please agree to meet me. It'd be really good. Thank you.
She's like my mum.
Very, very.
So, she's all grown up?
It's absolutely beautiful. Can't believe how like my mum she is. She's so like.
When baby Kim came into the world, London was swaying in the swinging 60s. Abbey Road, The Stones, Carnaby Street and bell-bottoms. But life was no fun for teenaged, unmarried mum Margot Elliott, who spent the first weeks of her baby's life right here. This hotel, back then a boarding house, was the only place Margot could afford as she pondered her future.
So 18 years old with a wee baby and you came back here?
Yeah, and I had a single room, me and my baby, just the 2 of us.
And where did Kim sleep?
I'm afraid she was in a drawer because I couldn't afford a cot or a Moses basket.
And you made the decision you had to give Kim up?
I had to. It was just too horrendous, the 2 of us just in this little single room.
But one of the things she did do before she moved to New Zealand, she came and booked in here at this hotel and sat in a room here.
Did she really?
And stayed here, just so she could think about you and her.
Really? Oh, what a lovely thing to do. She sounds an absolute gem of a person. She sounds quite amazing. I can't believe she was born to me.
Back in New Zealand, Jo and her family have been waiting anxiously. They know I'm coming to update them, but have no idea what I've discovered.
You've thought about finding your birth mother for a long time. Do you have a picture in your mind about what she might look like?
I just imagine her to be like me, but with darker hair. I don't know why, but that's just how I suppose because that's how I pictured her when I was younger. So that picture has never changed as I've got older.
Well, I've been to London and I've met a woman called Margot.
No, you haven't. You haven't met her. Have you really? Oh my God.
She cried when I told her you were looking for her.
I can't believe you really said that. Really? Have you really found that? Oh, can you believe that? Can you really believe that?
And her husband, Donald, he's always known about you.
Oh, God.
So you'd be happy to go to England to meet her?
Oh, my God. No.
2 weeks later, and Jo is in England. It's the country she left 7 years ago when she and her family packed up and moved to New Zealand. Jo is about to get the one thing she has wanted her entire life, to meet her birth mother.
It means so much to me, and now I'm back in England and it's more real. It just felt quite surreal because I was so far away, but now I'm actually here, knowing that she's somewhere waiting to be found. It could completely change my life. Well, it will change my life, I know it will.
So you must be feeling the butterflies.
Yeah, I was quite calm, but now I'm really nervous, yeah. I'm really excited and, yeah.
So if you look over your shoulder down there, you see a couple of heads bobbing over the thing there. That's your mum? Should wander down and say hello.
The closer I got, I could see that I looked like her. And as she turned around and looked at me, it was like walking towards myself. So I knew, yeah, this is definitely my mum.
I didn't want to let her go. Reminded me all these years back. I just want to keep cuddling her and cuddling her. Make up for all the years.
I've been happy. I've been happy.
I know, that's all I was interested in. And I saw your video and you said, and that's the main thing, that's all I wish for you, love. You have lovely parents and a great life. But at the time I couldn't give you it.
No, I know that and I understand that.
I know, what we like.
Oh, just incredible, just unbelievable to finally, be able to hug my mum. Just amazing. And I look like you.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad.
This is Donald?
Yes.
Oh, so pleased for you. I really am, honestly. I really mean it. You watch she is a baby.
I hope this is the start of lots to come. She was telling me that her mum died 20 years ago this week, so she's lost her mum and found her mum, which is lovely.
No, we've been skiing on a
Margot, a civil servant, and Donald, who worked at British Airways, are now both retired. Jo stayed on another week with them in England.
So this is a photo of me when I think I must have been about 4 months old, just after I'd just been adopted.
This is the one that your mum sent me, which I can't believe. It's amazing. The very picture that she sent me, and for you to pick that out, I just think it's amazing.
Is that the one that you asked for?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my parents. This is Paul, my dad, and Rosie, my mum.
My goodness. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best weeks of my life. Well, I just feel as if I've known her forever. She was just so easy to talk to, and we're very alike.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's incredible.
Jo also met the brother and sister she'd always dreamed of having.
I'm really happy. It's everything that I could have hoped for. There's a definite instant connection there, and that's my story.
Damn, that's lovely, and what a lovely story it is to end so well.
Next week on Lost and Found, a child who could be anywhere.
I didn't even know if he was alive.
A young mum confused by culture.
I've struggled because I don't know that side of me.
And a young share milker who wants to find her dad.
It's that unspoken subject.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.